Hello and welcome to another Photoshop tutorial. This one is on double exposure in Photoshop. So we're going to take a model image and an ink in water image and we're going to put them together to get this nice effect. The image is from Shutterstock, that's the ink image, and this is the base image we're going to start with. I'll link it in the description if you want to purchase the image and follow along exactly. I'll link those two images. So to get started, I'm going to double click on the background and click OK. It's just going to unlock it. I'm going to press Alt Command C, which is a canvas size, and I'm going to give myself a bit more horizontal space to play with. So from here, what I want to start to do is mask the woman's shape. There's lots of different ways to do it. Everyone's got their own preference. I personally am going to use the pen tool, and I'm just going to start going around the shape of her. So I'm going to speed this section up. Okay, welcome back. So what we've got now is an outline with the pen tool, and we're going to convert this pen to a mask. So make sure pen's selected, and you want to sort of control click and go to make selection and click OK. And from make selection, I'm then going to go over to the mask button here and add a layer mask. So that drops out the white background. Now I can click another layer here and drag it behind, press G. I've got white selected and I'm going to fill it with white. And also at this point I think I'm going to Command C and I'm going to give myself a bit more space. I'm going to anchor this to the middle right and I'm going to go to 6000 wide. So that's just going to give me some more space over here to finish off the image. So with the background selected, I can drag this out and I can hold shift and it'll just drag it out that way. Press tick. So there we've got the extra space that we needed. The model's body sort of disappears off here, so we can quickly correct that. It doesn't need to be that accurate, so we're going to use the clone stamp. I'm just going to click her arm here, and if I just follow that through to about there, oh, we've got the opacity down, that's right. So bump up the opacity and just do that. So we've got an arm in there. The hair won't matter. The next thing we're going to do is grab the ink image. So click on here, press Command A, which is select everything, Command C, which is copy, then jump back to this one and Command V, which is paste. It's not quite big enough, so we're just going to use shift and drag up these bounding boxes that way. And I'm going to move it over my image. Just need to be a bit bigger that way to cover everything, and press tick. Now from here we want to go to the layer style and make it screen, and it looks pretty good. The hair, that flat hair bit there, disappears. Everything's in here. Face is obscured, but we'll bring that back in a second. So that looks good. So from here we're going to click back on our model layer and we're going to play around with the levels, because at the minute it's a color image, so I want this to be black and white. So I can do it two ways, but I'm going to actually go down here, and if you hover over this one, you say create new fill or adjustment layer. So click that and we can click black and white, and this comes up. It's a bit difficult to see at the minute, so we'll just close that one down, and then I'm going to do the same thing again and do levels. So once the levels come up, I can play around with these levels to try and sort of darken the image up a bit. Not too much. I don't want it to be too dark, but you want to bring some of that contrast back. So once we've done that there, we can click on the ink layer, and I'm just going to use an eraser tool. There's lots of different ways of doing this, but I find with the eraser tool you can just gently bring back. I've got my opacity down at 17 and flow down at 28, so it's not too harsh. I definitely want the full eye back and the lips, and I'm going to leave most of the pattern on the cheek and the chin. So happy with that. That's looking pretty good. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is duplicate this top ink layer. I'm going to go duplicate layer, click OK. We can see it's popped in. I'm going to change the screen to normal, and I'm going to go to the edge and I'm going to spin it around. So once I've spun it around, I want to get it into a place where it's going to fill in that background. That looks about right. So I'm going to tick there. Again, go back to my eraser tool. I'm going to pump this back up to full now. And I'm just going to go around that bit there to get rid of that. And take out all the white that I don't want in there. So we can see it's actually intruding a bit too much, so I'm going to pull it back again. And just take out some of that line there on the actual model there. So that looks pretty good. I think it's probably in about the right position. Yeah, that's good. So then the next thing I want to do is get rid of this white. It's a bit too intense. So I want to do a gradient map. So I'll click this again and click gradient map. And this pops up, looks a bit crazy at first. But once you click this, we can have a look through these presets, and under pinks, let's have a look. I'll click on some of these. It's a bit difficult to see at the minute, but I want something fairly soft. Let's see. That looks pretty good. Click OK and get rid of that. And then I can bring this down in opacity to about 42%. Maybe a bit further. So let's see, without that, it just gives it a bit of colour. So from there, I'm going to change the layer style to multiply. So you can see the different effects as you go through, but multiply. Click multiply, maybe bring up the opacity a bit more so we can see a bit of pink. About 50% is good. And that is how I do my double exposure. You can apply these techniques to any sort of images, as long as they have sort of white patches that you can blow images out and that kind of thing. So really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe, and I'll see you again next time.